It's 7:37, April 2nd. This is the Conservation Commission, Whitman Conservation Commission. We just approved payroll. And we have the minutes for March 19th. Does anybody have any questions, changes? Any motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So you were good with my nose, or correct?
The order?
No, for
I was good with that. I would have just stricken this out. We have a lot of bullet points that it gets the point across those.
okay.
Yeah.
Since we're this is the job description, I guess you want to call it, for the 2 voting members and 1 non-voting member. The non-voting member would vote if we did not have a quorum. So right now we only have 3, so it's 5 with an alternate, basically, because we need 2 and then 1 is an alternate. Because to have a quorum, we'd technically need 3, but
Yeah.
we always we don't have enough to even have meetings. I mean, if we all show up, we can do it. So,
We all always have to agree.
yeah. So basically, what we do, and I don't know how much Brian has said. So we get calls. People do a notice of intent. Different types of things that they file. We handle neighbor complaints, questions, and stuff. So then we get like a notice of intent or a notice of applicability. Oh, I actually said it correctly this time. We go out and do site inspections. So we're just checking to see if there's actually wetlands or what, because each, like a notice of intent will specify what they're going to be doing. So then we go out and do the site inspection based on what the notice of intent or whatever the filing is. And then we'll have a hearing, and we'll have the representative of the applicant do a presentation. We ask questions and then decide whether or not we approve it or not, or if we have them make changes to it. Then there's complaints. So people, I wouldn't say all the time, but part of the time it's a neighbor, I wouldn't say dispute, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so one says one thing that somebody's doing something, so we go out and check it out, and then if we find that there's something, they're violating something, then we contact whoever's doing what and tell them to stop. And then people also just call us, and like we'll go out and check if they have like trees that are in the wetlands, but they look like they're going to fall, and they can fall in somebody's house. So then we have to make judgment calls of, what they can and cannot do. And let's see, what else do we do? We take care of the ponds. So the Harding Pond in Hobart, we have a company that we just approved the invoice, well, not the invoice, the contract for this year. So they will be doing, I think, 3 visits. They might do more than 3 visits, but we have 3 payments for them for each. And one pond there are specific plans for each pond. It's based on what the need of the pond is. So the company comes out, they get all the filing fees and they take care of all that, and then they perform the job, and then they give us a field report after each treatment, what they do.
So are they treating the water? Are they testing the water?
And it's treating the water a little bit. It's more of the plants, like the invasive species.
Right.
So there's like purple loosestrife, there's you name it, there's a lot of different things that are invasive. So then they,
That algae last year too, right? The blue algae.
yeah, and if it's hot, it's hard. I mean, the algae is kind of hard to get rid of because it's the temperature. If it's not, if there's no circulation in the, I mean, if it's not raining, then the ponds aren't flowing through to keep the circulation of the water. So then it, I wouldn't say it stagnates, but it does build up, and yeah, people complain about it. It's like doing the best we can that they are treating it, but because of, and it's high iron. I mean, you look at the water in either pond or just we have a well, and yeah, if you don't put iron out or stuff in or use the right salt in your water softener, you might as well like orange.
You see people who water their lawns and their ornamentals get covered in orange.
Look at all the
Yeah.
fences and the signs for CVS, they're all iron orange.
Yes.
Beautiful stonework, and it's
And if you treat your hair like I do, sometimes you have to get some lemon juice and stuff to wash the iron out of your hair because of the clay. Yeah.
special water.
Or you just go get a jug of spring water and then mix it, and but it's kind of hard washing your hair in the shower with a jug of water.
That's
The things we do.
That's all right.
Sacrifices we make.
You want orange hair?
And then
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
For the water?
yeah, so
That's great.
what else? Yeah, so we do.
What about the
inspect on-
dams and stuff like that?
Excuse me.
Like the dams, like behind culverts.
What about them?
Who's responsible for that? I know you talked about the water and stuff, but what about the dams?
The dams that's under us, but also like the town and DPW.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because
We were-
they have done some work for Harding Pond's head wall, or the piece that goes under, because it goes under Pine Street and it goes off into East Bridgewater. So but at one point they fixed it. But yeah, and then the state comes and inspects them. I don't know how often they do it, but yeah, it just depends. If it would be major, we'd have to hire a company outside of the DPW doing anything. But yeah, so that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you just come and we need a quorum. We vote on payroll and the minutes, and like the contracts for the ponds. There's bid tents.
Sometimes DP comes up with the sidewalks, we jump on with them, and then if there's a challenging site or sites they don't agree with,
Yeah,
DP has, not say jurisdiction, but they approve the projects also, in an approval process.
I'm sorry, DP?
DEP, Mass DEP.
Oh, okay, man.
part of
I didn't get
environmental
Yeah.
protection.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when people file, there's forms on the state website that they have to use, and you have to fill it out a certain way, and then you can. I think right now, currently, they want you to do it electronically, but I think some people, because this person, it looks like they printed it. Usually gets, but anyway, they submit it to DEP, and we get a copy of it. And then once DEP looks at it, and they might have some questions or whatever, but then they give us give the person a file number, and our number starts with 340 and then dash. And I think right now we're up to 480 or something like that. We're not like East Bridgewater's like up to 1600, but
Wow.
yeah. But so then DEP gives them a number. They might have some questions that they have to address to DEP before we can hold a hearing, or at the time we have our hearing, we put a notice in the paper, and they have to notify the abutters when the hearing is, and then the hearing, and depending on how it goes, and then we do a site inspection before the hearing, and the applicant or representative gets the map and like goes through all they put up on a easel and they go through the whole process of what they're going to do and how it's going to affect it, and if it's somebody's house next door, whatever, and then if we're satisfied, then we close the hearing and we vote on it. Sometimes though we need a different map, or you need to, this says this, but that's not what's there, so we push back and they have to get new plans, and then we just can, at that point we continue the hearing, we don't close it, and then we reopen the hearing, and then we vote on it one way or the other. Most of the time, I've been on the commission for over 20 years, and I think I've only voted against like maybe 2 or 3 the whole time. But then, like for one on Marie Ann, was that so DEP, we had a site inspection with them. That's the first time I've ever had DEP come out and do. I think they did it before with like when George was chairman, but it's the only time that we met with them. And then so they did a couple things. It was like a teaching moment for one of their staff members that was just joining their team. So we went out, but then after the fact, they decided that they were going to do a superseding order. So we haven't got the superseding order yet, but they're in the process. So they pretty much took over the notice of intent. So it's not under our jurisdiction anymore. So that's the first time that's ever happened in.
Is that more difficult for the person who was trying? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So he has to go back, and I think he went and got stuff from the original. What was a subdivision? So he went back and got stuff from there, and then they had more questions back and forth and stuff. So, but there's since I've been on the commission, that's the only superseding order. But also, if people don't like what we approve, then they can file with this DEP and file an appeal. And then if they win the appeal, the state issues a superseding order. I think that is very rare, but it does happen. So, but yeah, so we meet the first and third Tuesday of every month, except if it's like around 4th of July, we're not going to meet there. If it's a holiday, and if there's an election, because they use this room as, like, I wouldn't say staging, but like for people to,
It's a big
take break. Yes. So, and yeah, and it just depends. Like sometimes the meetings can go long. It depends on like what's going on. So if like when Captain's Way over on Auburn Street, that whole subdivision, we would have like the subdivision would be one notice of intent, but then depending on the lots, some wouldn't have a notice of intent because there are no wetlands, but some could, and we would have back-to-back notice of intent hearings, like 4, 5 at a time at a night, like 15-minute intervals. So, and then sometimes it's like tonight. We have nothing except the public information. Yeah. Well, we did our minutes. We just approved the minutes, the payroll. We opened the mail. So sometimes it's just like that.
Yeah.
But then other times, I mean, from like November to like March, we had something every single week, and sometimes we didn't have a quorum, so then we had to move everything back. So it just depends. Sometimes, there's a lot, and sometimes there isn't. So, but yeah, we usually anywhere from half hour. It could be an hour and a half, but the hour and a halves are far and few
They
between.
can work. Yeah.
Yeah, they aren't that often.
The sidewalks are usually like a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, take measurements, or just kind of
It's a lot of visual stuff. Yeah, because
visual.
just kind of verifying what is on the plan. They give you the plan and finding wetland flags to go flag in the woods with pink flags or whatever. It'll be numbered, and you just kind of trace them up, find them in the woods.
And look at the plants and things like that. Which reminds me, I still go by the book.
Yeah.
The Musil? Is that how you say it?
Useful slug guy.
Yes. I've got it written down. Yes, so it's just about going out and then after people say that, oh, we're done. Because when they have a notice of intent, then there's order of conditions. The order of conditions are good for 3 years. If you're done before then the vegetation's grown back. They just call us. We go out and do another site inspection and make sure whatever we had said in the order of conditions has been done. And if it's done, then we just vote on it and they're good to go. But others I've had to go and do cease and desist because people just like, oh, I can do stuff in the wetlands. It's like, no, you can't. It's people have a hard time understanding that it's their property, but if there's wetlands on it, they can't do things in the wetlands because even though it's their property,
Take down trees.
yeah, you can't take down trees. You can't, clear things. You're not even supposed to be in the wetlands.
Sure.
So that's people sometimes have a hard time understanding that. So, and trying to think what else. Yeah, because we had a site inspection on Stetson Street. And we went out and there was this one or two sheds. There were 2 sheds. One was on their property and one was like half on the property and half off the property. And then, and it just happened that I got a call about some trees is on Constitution Circle. I think that was right. Mm-hmm. So it was on the opposite side of the wetlands. And I was like, oh, there's the tree house that we saw on the set side, not realizing at that point, it's like, oh, it's in the wetlands. But the current owners didn't know anything, didn't know it was wetlands or anything, because when they passed papers, whoever did the clear title, they would have had I forgot the number of the thing on my little sticky at home. So they would have, because there was wetlands, when they built that subdivision, each lot that has wetlands, they would have had to file a notice of intent. And I found the notice of intent for that lot. Because when you do a subdivision, it's lots. It's not, you don't have an address on the notice of intent. It's just like Constitution Circle, lot 28. That's all. So unless the person knows, if they built their house and they're the original owner, they would know what the lot would be, as opposed to, like when we built our house, we were lot 12? No, we're 12 Meyer Farm, but we were lot, I think, 9 or something like that. So it kind of but our notice intent would be under lot whatever.
Yeah.
And so when they pass papers, in our boilerplate, it specifically says, if the property is sold, you have to give them a copy of the notice of intent, whether it, or the certification, that it has to be conveyed to them. They have to know that didn't happen to this. So those people now have a treehouse in the wetlands that they have to remove. Yeah, so it can be, we don't have too much drama.
No, not too much.
I mean, but
Let me know about
yeah. So if you're interested, then you just need to send a letter to the selectmen, telling them why you want, and they.
So they vote on it. They vote on it.
What did you do, Joe? Is that what you
I
did?
just submit a resume.
You submitted.
That was interesting. I just sent my regular resume.
Yeah. I don't know if I did or not.
I think I did.
I might have, but it's been so long. It's like,
Yeah, I'd have to do a little updating on that.
yeah, it doesn't have to be like,
No, it doesn't need to be environmentally focused or anything.
yeah, because I had no experience with wetlands or anything. I just, Elaine, who used to be she was the recording secretary, well, the secretary, and also Nimmer.
What's her last name?
Melissa?
Melissa.
Yes. So we had just moved to town, and it was, I think, my first or second town meeting, and she got up and was like, it's like people were like complaining, it's like, about stuff, and she got up and was like, well, you need to step up and, put your mouth, not necessarily in those words, but, we don't have enough volunteers,
Yeah.
volunteer,
Yeah.
and do your thing,
Everyone that's on Whitman Pride right now complaining about something, right? Could be here doing something.
Yeah.
And all the boards are looking for help. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was hearing.
Yeah.
So just, like I said, it doesn't have to be a full out resume unless you have one, email, and then just send it to, I think her name's Lori O'Brien. It's the selectman's admin. You just send it to her, then she'd put you on the agenda for their whatever next meeting, and pretty much they just vote on it. I never went. I got a letter saying, yeah, you're approved, go. And then once they approve you, you go to the clerk's office, take an oath, and boom, you're done.
That's it.
And then you come here, yeah.
How do you get out?
How do you get out? You resign, or we ask if you.
Nothing is.
No, we've had to do this in the past, that people don't show up for like months and months, and it's like, which we can't do it because they're technically a member. We can't do,
Right.
we have to have the selectmen notify them and ask them, if you're not going to show up, not in these words, then please resign.
Right.
So, and sometimes it's kind
of common courtesy.
yeah, but sometimes people get, their work, I wouldn't say gets in the way, but there was one lady that her job changed and she was traveling a lot, so she just couldn't make it. And then other people, their life and work, interfere with us. So it's just one of those things. And yeah, sometimes people just, whatever, for whatever purpose. So, but yeah, so yes.
Someone has to step aside for a while. They can always
Yes.
get their name back
Yes.
in the ring later on.
Yes, and that's what the last person, that's what we did. We just said, it's like, you're welcome to come back anytime when your schedule allows that you can, participate. And yeah, so that's about it. Yeah. So like I said, we need 2 voting members to make us whole. And then the non-voting, technically, I wouldn't say they're non-voting, but because the alternate, I'd rather say, because if we don't have a quorum then they vote. Or if we don't have all 5 members, they vote. So, and Erica's our recording secretary. She's not a member. She's a paid employee. All of us are involved. You're not going to get paid. So,
I know.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We're not. There's no stipend. There's
Just
nothing. It's just
real-
the kindness of your heart, and you can put it down on your resume that you volunteer for town. So,
Positive feedback from Whitman Pride.
yeah,
big.
What we're ready for, right?
yeah. So, yeah. Do you have any other questions?
Not at this time.
Okay,
Not at this time.
but yeah, you're welcome to.
Twice a month.
Yep.
And additional sites.
Yep, and it's like in the summertime, usually, we don't have too much, then we don't hold,
Oh.
usually 1 week, like July, we only do the one meeting.
I feel like there was like a month too where we didn't meet just because like there's random vacations.
Yeah,
Because
and if we
it's
did,
just us.
Yeah.
If someone goes on vacation.
yeah, it's what, yeah, for like,
Which happens a lot, I'm sure.
yeah, well, February vacation, Brian was on his family went somewhere, so we didn't have a quorum. So, yeah, so that's what we really need people, so we can, if we had 3 out of, 5 people in it, and we have like 4 members,
Easier.
yeah, we could meet and one person could be on vacation. So, but yeah,
Now, when you go to a site, how many people
whoever
do
can go.
you have a required amount?
No,
Once in a while.
Everybody is, or?
Sometimes it's been all 3, sometimes it's 2 of us, sometimes one
Some-
person
yeah.
goes. Follow, visit one person goes.
yeah, because sometimes I go and, where was it? It's over off of Franklin Street. They just wanted, it's like, oh, is this what? I was like, no, this is what. So, some minutes it's like a 5-minute, conversation with somebody, and sometimes, we're walking, and going through stuff, but yeah.
Did Whitman Middle School contractor ever call you back?
The middle school?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Didn't they try to arrange a meeting like a month ago? But it was during the day.
Yeah, and I did have, and then last week, I don't think
Okay.
I think last Thursday I checked my email because I had to do training.
Okay. I just
But they hadn't,
didn't reach back out.
yeah, they usually, sometimes they call them at my home.
Okay.
So, yeah, the last time somebody called was the lady with the Earth Day.
Yeah.
But I think I was encouraging her to, like, if you have a lot of people, go to Harding Pod. Don't focus on Hobart. Hobart gets all the, I wouldn't say the attention, but they do.
They do.
So, kind of.
I met the Hobart descendants last summer. Okay, they I forget if Justin came out years ago. He's done his research on his family genealogy and stuff like that. Well, he brought his whole family out this time, and his brother and this and that. And, I noticed I'm pretty up with the historical stuff around my area. I live on the east side and stuff, and I saw what looked like a field trip on a rainy day while I was walking my puppies. It's like, you guys on a field trip? And then they said, well, kind of, right? They were looking at the tunnel on Pleasant, and then they were heading up to Hobart, so I went with them, and we had a grand old time.
Yeah.
Met them back at O'Toole's. It was really interesting, and then I ended up doing a lot more. He gave me some stuff, and I gave him some stuff that I had, but he gave me some interesting reading material and stuff too.
Yeah, cool.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, and at Harding we have DPW came. When was it? It was last week. Whenever it was, I think maybe Friday or something, Thursday or Friday, because I was working home and I could see out the window, and they came and were like shoveling the leaves for the drains, and then later I drove by Harding, and it's like this stack of wood. So they had cleaned out the dam because we have beavers and apparently otters at
Hobart's.
at Harding Pond.
Oh, hiding too, huh?
Yeah, I don't know about Hobart, but
Yeah, I've
definitely,
seen them.
yeah. So
I thought it was a
they're
big-
busy beavers, let me tell you, because they just. But
there's
but
been
now the
trees
water's
cut down in
flowing.
Culverts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was a beaver. 'Cause, well, one, there was trees taken down too, but this
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
guy
It
was
like
staring at, yeah,
not to a point.
yeah. He took down a birch
Yeah,
and it
I just
just,
saw that the other day.
yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
That's it.
yeah. I know somebody was like, get rid of them. It's like, we're not going to get rid of them. They're a wild animal and it's a pond.
They're not.
So,
This is their habitat.
yeah, it's like, you're invading their environment.
That's,
Yeah. So, but anyway,
all right.
all right. Well, it is 8:07. We will end the meeting.